So Nipun Bhai we were on a breakout group today, and he said, I want you guys to think of the next big impossible idea, right? Like Nipun, right? What's the next big impossible idea? It should be the moonshot. What's the big idea? So Nipun, my big idea is next time please have something called an ode to men. That's my big idea, and I wish you invite my wife to speak, and I'm pretty convinced she'll not speak about me. It's so funny because I remember there was once a big newspaper article, and a lot of my friends called home and said, Dipali, have you seen that article about Ferose? And she's like, really? A newspaper carried an article about Ferose? Really? Is he that important? I'm like, so that's my wife. She's never read about me. She keeps me grounded. As soon as I go home, she's like, here are the things you need to keep here, clean it up, blah, blah, blah. So, I think but really, since this is an ode to women, I want to share my story with Dipali. A lot have been written about me, but I think she's a hero of my life. And this is a story not too many people know, but I think this is family, and I want to share it. So I met Dipali at NIT Warangal, and we were in the same class. And I'm talking about both of us were around 17, 18 years. So in a class of 60 of computer science students, she used to sit in the front row. She was incredibly beautiful, fair. I used to sit in the last row, tall, dark, and ugly. And in academics, she was brilliant. She was always like the topper. And my rank in a class of 60 was 52. Okay? And then I fell in love with her, and we started going around. And so the gap between not number one, maybe in the top 10, 15, and 52 was pretty big when we started dating each other in college. And by the time we passed out, that gap really reduced. I was still ranked 52. And then so we passed out from college. And both our parents got to know that we were dating each other. And I'm a Muslim from Kerala. My wife is a Hindu Brahmin from Maharashtra. And my friends said, Ferose, this is a perfect recipe for disaster. I mean, like, you guys are serious about getting married? I'm like, what's the big deal type, right? We will get married. And then our parents got to know that we are dating each other. And at that time, her mother and now my father-in-law said, are you serious about getting married? There are riots all around the world because of Hindu-Muslim stuff. And I'm like, really? Am I that important that there will be riots because we got married? I mean, I couldn't figure that, like, there's going to be riots because we got married. Anyway, so this is what happened. We finally got married. But this is the most important aspect. It took us 9 years. We just decided that day that we will only get married when our parents gave us the permission to get married. We waited for 9 years. My wife, Dipali at that time, left her home, and she said, we will not get married unless they bless us. And they finally did, because my parents realized that there's no point fighting with this guy. He's not going to listen anyway. And her parents realized she's not going to listen anyway. And we both were getting old. They said, as we'll get married. So we got married. But the marriage was incredibly interesting. And this is about my male friends. Yeah? This is amazing. So when you're in college, you have, I had my male friends who would always encourage me. Yeah, tu kar le shaadi yaar. Hum hai na tere piche. We are there. Tu chinta mat kar, hum fight karenge. Right? This is like guys. Right? And I was pretty convinced that don't trust these buggers. Yeah? This is like. And then after 9 years, we had to get married in a Hindu-Muslim act. You know what a Hindu-Muslim act is, right? You have to go to a court. It was a court wedding. But you have to, kind of sign a form and give the name of 3 witnesses. So I gave the name of 3 witnesses. One was my sister-in-law and 2 of my best friends from college who were women, because I made a conscious decision because, I didn't trust the guys too much. So 3 of us were there. And it's so funny, and I can show you that photograph. I wish I had brought it. So we got married, we exchanged the garlands inside the courtroom, and there's this picture of me with 7 women. Right? And my guy friends is like, "Abhi kab hai shaadi teri?" I'm like, "Hello, you guys are supposed to be here." So half of my guy friends never even showed up, or they were either late, right? So that's the role of women in my life. My marriage certificate has name of 3 women. All my photographs has only women. And my guy friends who from college said, "Shaadi kar le, hum pahunch jayenge," are still roaming around somewhere. Right? Never showed up. Now let me take it to the next level. Right? So we got married, and all that is fun. We had, when we look back, it's a lot of fun. And then after we got married, we both were in SAP. So she worked in SAP, I worked in SAP for 8 years together. Different teams, of course, but we were in the same company. And every time she gave up her career for my sake, because I got selected as a board assistant, which is a big deal in SAP, that you work for the CEO's office. Only handpicked few people. So I got selected, and so I had to move to Germany. By that time, we had got married. She moved in. So she kind of gave up a lot of her career just to follow me. After 4 years of marriage, Vivan happened. And this is by far the most special thing. She comes from a family of all women. She has 3 sisters. Vivan was the first boy. And I remember seeing my mother-in-law. She hugged me and said, it was like she had the boy that she never had. Right? She had 3 daughters, and Vivan was the first grandchild. And for her, this is the boy she never had. So Vivan has been brought up in an incredible amount of love. Extremely beautiful kid, to the extent that I remember, the ad agency once came home and said, can we use him? Can we use Vivan for an ad? And Deepali was like, no, this is my baby, no, not going anywhere, like nazar lag jayegi and all that. So anyway, things, I think until he was 18 months old, probably the best phase of our life. We enjoyed him so much, we loved him a lot. And then of course, he was diagnosed with autism, and our life changed. He needs 24/7 attention, has multiple health issues, has a lot of behavior issues. It took us a lot of time for us to actually grapple with the idea that our child is going to be very different. I actually, the day I got to know, I went into the bathroom, locked the door, and cried for straight 30 minutes. And Deepali was like, strong. I think we quickly realized that, the quicker we accept that he is different, the more we can do for him, right? And since then we said, let's treat him like every other kid. He's normal to us. Who are we to decide who's normal and who's not? Who are we? I think he's special in his own ways. In the last 8 years, he's just turned 8. He's been an incredible amount of joy. Incredible amount of joy for us. He's completely non-verbal. He can't speak a word. But he's our life. And a lot of things that have happened in my life, actually, I've got opportunities to speak at the World Economic Forum, be invited to the United Nations, met with Ban Ki-moon. We started the autism movement, which started as a small weekend project and went on to now become a global phenomena. And I look at it and I say, the only person who's responsible for this is Vivan. Just one person. I remember, and Sridhar was here for the inclusion retreat. Many of us, Jaideep and all, we started autism as a project when we had no clue. I remember the first time I heard the word, I said, what is autism? I did a Google search, not knowing what it is. So we started the weekend projects. Volunteers joined in, did some simple experiments. I spoke at the World Economic Forum in Davos, became a massive movement. SAP one day made an announcement that 1% of its global workforce will be people on the autism spectrum. I wrote the press brief. And when Sridhar was reading it, he said, Ferose, do you know what Vivan did just now? This is the impact of one Vivan to the world. And the ripple effect has been so much across the world. So I think, Vivan came with a purpose. I remember making the phone call to Dr. Kiran Bedi when he was diagnosed. I didn't speak to her for a month. She's like a family to me. And she said, Ferose, why haven't you spoken to me for a month? And I said, you know what, ma'am, Vivan has been diagnosed with this, and so, we were kind of pretty disappointed. We didn't know what to do, so sorry I didn't call you. And she said something that really changed my life. She said, Ferose, most people in the world spend their entire lifetime not knowing what their purpose is. You're incredibly lucky that the purpose found you. Use Vivan as a tool to make a meaningful difference in the world. And that's what all I've been trying to do. And I think it's not me, and I say this with all humility. This is not me. This is his power. This is the power of an incredible mother. Because I think following your passion is a lot easier than giving up yours. My wife has given up everything that she had in her life to take care of Vivan. And I remember she said one thing incredibly beautiful. She said, Ferose, you change the world for Vivan, I will change Vivan for the world. Maybe I'll end with a very emotional but a funny narrative. She always tells me, Ferose, my wish is that one day Vivan calls me Mama. That's it. And one day she called me very happy. She said, you know what? Vivan said his first word. And I was like, yeah. What did he say? You know what? He said, iPad. And I'm like, here goes the boy. Thank you very much.